You guys have been partners for a long time. We appreciate all the feedback you give us. You keep us up to date a lot on a lot of cyber topics. You guys are doing great things with other members. We're very excited to have you here today. And I don't want to take up too much time because I want you guys to be able to talk to the group about cyber security compliance. So
sure.
Thank you very much, Craig, and thank you, Steve.
All right. Well, Steve's kind of a little bit off here on the side, but there we go.
Hey, how's it going?
We've got a new emergency right now in cybersecurity. You guys know about all the basic stuff, right? You know about HIPAA. You might know about PCI, the payment card industry. But there was something that just happened that really was a news flash, and I've been running the webinars for the FBI for their Infragard program now for years. And we do a lot of training of small businesses as well as government organizations and NGOs. And if you are interested in cybersecurity at all, go check out infragard.org right now. Almost anybody can sign up. They do a light background check to make sure you haven't murdered anybody recently. But other than that, they'll let you in. And you will be getting daily now all of these things from the FBI about what's going on. So make sure you keep up on that. But let's get into what we found right now. You mentioned Jamie and Cricket a little bit earlier. And we've partnered up with them through the SMB Alliance to take care of a massive problem. So let's go to our next slide. Ta-da! And look at the problem as defined. Again, this is FBI statistics, whether or not you believe the FBI anymore, right? So there's some things been going on. But we're seeing tens of thousands, in fact, hundreds of thousands of complaints, over $13 billion stolen right now from companies in the US and abroad. It's a real big problem. If we go to the next one, the biggest problem that we're really starting to see right now, and the big warnings that have come out, are that the hackers are using small companies to get at the Pentagon. So we've got, in fact, a client that we went in, we did a security audit on their systems. We ran it. It didn't take us very long. In fact, I was out at another conference other than an SMB conference, which used to happen sometimes. And Steve was the one who reached out to me and told me what had happened. We found active Chinese backdoors in the systems. And so we talked to the business owner, said, hey, is it okay if we bring the FBI in? And the head guy at the FBI Boston field office said this was the worst infection they had ever seen. So here's a guy, he makes power supplies, people, passive devices. It doesn't get simpler than that, who believed he had no security problems. He's in his late 70s right now. He's been running this business for decades. It is his retirement. The Chinese have all of his intellectual property, all of his designs, all of his customer lists, and now he gets to compete with his own designs being made in China. Oh, and he lost 70% of his business because the federal contractor that was buying most of his little power supplies and filters decided to pull the contract because they got audited. Okay, very big deal. We're happening all the time. Yep. 2 weeks ago, we saw another one. And in fact, a company that'll go unnamed that we worked with another SMB Alliance partner on, same problem. The CFO, they had parts diagrams on that laptop. We did a scan, and guess what we found? Another Chinese backdoor. They were in hard. So let's go to the next one. We're talking right now about a greater than $3 billion opportunity. $3 billion by the end of 2021. There's about 7,500 companies that right now are in the DoD space somehow. And that goes from the big contractors like the Lockheeds that you know about, and all of those regulations pushed all the way down to the guy that mows the lawn. It really goes that far. They've divided into 5 different levels that they have to comply with. There's just a whole lot involved here. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see kind of an overview. You might have heard of NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They have something called the 800-171. And the DoD has built on top of that something called CMMC that you'll see on the right-hand side. So each one of those little boxes represents a set of requirements, okay? This thing is massive, and the federal government estimates to comply with this, it will cost a business approximately $900,000 up front and $300,000 per year. Okay, so there's some serious money there. Go on to the next one. The CMMC rule, Kelly, yeah, there you go, thanks. The CMMC rule was put in place, but they gave a special 48-hour notice about a month ago, at the end of September, that you had 2 weeks and we're putting new rules in effect. And this new rule, this interim rule, goes into effect in 3 weeks from today? Almost 4 weeks? And this rule is all part of this whole defense acquisition, the DFARS thing. It's absolutely crazy what's coming down the pike. So let's go to the next slide, and you'll see again the same guy we just had over on the right-hand side, CMMC. This is levels 1 through 3. Level 4 is expected to be in place for a number of companies and 5 for some others. But next one, here's where the real pain starts. This is the supplier performance system, that the risk system that the feds have in place. They've had in place for a while. Everyone who has a federal contract needs to go, a DoD-related federal contract today. By 2025, it's every federal contract, whether, again, you're mowing the lawn, washing the windows, or you are building rocket engines. You have to fill out this form. And people are going to go there and they're going to do something we call pencil whipping, which is they're just going to check off, yeah, and they're not even going to know what they're doing. Next slide. And that's going to cause some real problems, because every line, every response that they put in is mandated penalties. In fact, on average, they're estimating that there would be a 10-year federal prison sentence plus over $10,000 in fines. So think about that as an incentive for one of your customers to buy. You know, those customers that we've all been saying, they're too price sensitive. They're not going to do any of this stuff. And you're used to that from some of the things like the HIPAA and high tech and some of the others that are out there right now.
Yeah, the HIPAA, the high tech, or we get into insurance and the insurance audits that are required. Or Lloyd's of London says, you know what, we've issued all these policies, but we don't think we're ever going to pay out on them because they're not meeting the minimum requirements. So guess what's going to happen now? Their cybersecurity insurance is going to say, no, they're going to shirk responsibility, and guess where the lawsuit target ends up?
Exactly. And we've got copies of lawsuits against managed services providers, break-fix shops, you name it, because it ends on your shoulders. The insurance industry, for a $50 rider on a business insurance, is not going to protect you. Next up. So here's what we're thinking, and this is what worked really well with Jamie and Cricket, also in the SMB Alliance, and that is to use a company that is like us. Wow, wait a minute, we do this? Called a managed security services provider. So we work with Darren on some of the back end stuff. Darren can provide some SOC operations. We work with this team as well to put the right kind of hardware in place, the right kind of software in place. Bring it all together. We run it. We manage it, we put it in place, and it really is something that's ideal for break-fix shops, etc. Next slide. Now, I got an offer for you guys. I know that's shocking, but if you go right now to sellcybersecurity.com, I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I want to get you the information, and then when you're ready, I want you to come to the conclusion you need to visit us, right, and get a little bit of help, or talk to Darren's people, and they can steer you towards us. But this is something that Steve put together that's a flow chart that lets you figure out exactly what do people have to comply with. Next slide. And then we'll also provide you with a playbook if that's something you need. We can provide you, we have literally over 100 different documents that you can use for putting it all together. We can also give you the cybersecurity audit compliance kit. This thing is over 400 pages long. Okay, it's serious stuff. But you go to sellcybersecurity.com. If you put your name and your email in there, I personally will get back to you. This is not like a big automated thing. I'm not putting you in a funnel. I'm not doing any of that. But we can have a quick discussion on what you might need, what information you might want. Get on the phone call with me and or Steve or Ella or any of our technicians, and we're more than glad to help. And this has worked out really well. How big was the deal with Jamie? And
About over 5 years, it would be $1 million.
And Jamie got to go on a free trip down to Atlanta, GA with Cricket. So he was pretty happy about that.
We enjoyed seeing the pictures. This is great. You guys have been very generous with your knowledge and time and have made great partnerships with the Alliance, Craig. So we really appreciate all of what you said. We got a lot of great questions in the chat, which we're going to probably take that offline or answer afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's any last words, let us know. If not, I want to say thank you very much. You displayed a lot of great knowledge on the group, and I can see the reactions right now.
You're welcome. We spent $5 million building this business because, believe it or not, most of these tools even that are used by MSPs do not meet federal requirements. So we've had to build everything from scratch.
Well, you've done a great job. And anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to Craig.
Thanks.
Or myself directly. Thank you guys very much for the prep and for your time today. Mm-hmm. Great information, very serious stuff. So
take care.
Thank you so much.
$3 billion is almost real money.
Yeah, we're going to get you one of those safes that Adam has to keep that cash in.
Billion here, billion there, yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, guys. That was fantastic.